Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal, and this is your latest transfer news stream. How are you guys? Hopefully you're doing well. Every time I come on here, I'm even happier. Yesterday, Man United dropped points. Casemiro is going to miss our match. I mean, I wanted him to play just so that Thomas Partey can teach him a lesson. But hey, we're even happier. Man United dropping points. Man City dropping points here and there. They're playing Spurs today. By tomorrow we could even be happier, but we still need to sign players in the transfer window. We obviously still need at least 2 players this transfer window. We have been promised 2 players, and one of them is Leandro Trossard, who we are going to talk about today. Now, I remember back in July, the other transfer window, I was asked which players would I want at Arsenal that we've never really been linked to, and I said McGinn from Aston Villa and also Trossard from Brighton. I never thought we were ever going to get him anyway, because that is not really our model. These days we get players who are 21, 22, and Trossard is 28 as well. And we also rarely buy players directly from other Premier League clubs. Usually we get players from like Ramsdale, he was in the Championship at the time, Tomiyasu from Italy, apart from Ben White. Ben White actually came from Brighton. So we've worked at Brighton before. They're usually tough. Remember when we were trying to sign Ben White, it took a lot of time to get him in. Like before we agreed on that 50 million, it took a lot of time. But it doesn't look like this will take that much time because they want him out of Brighton. And it's also a cheaper deal. It's not like Mudryk where we needed to pay 100 million. No, this is a cheaper deal. And we know we love cheaper deals. And I don't have to pay expensive to get good players. Cheaper deals can work. And if you're going to get Trossard on a cheap, 100% get him in. So let's talk about the latest. How you guys? Let me say hi to you, Christopher, RK, Abdullahi as well, Karimu, Alexander. How are you guys? Let's see what is the latest news from today. So according to Fabrizio Romano on Trossard, Arsenal have opened talks to sign Leandro Trossard from Brighton. Negotiations advanced with the official bid ready for permanent move. Personal terms already agreed. Talks will continue to get deal done soon. So personal terms is never a problem with Arsenal. Remember, we agreed personal terms with Tielemans. We agreed personal terms with Mudryk, but you still have to agree how much money you're going to pay him per week, bonuses and everything like that. So that is done. So Trossard himself wants to join Arsenal. As usual, I know we say the same thing about Mudryk. Trossard himself has agreed to move to Arsenal. Now it's all about Brighton agreeing the fee. But how much will we be needed to pay? So Tottenham actually made a bid for him. I think a week back, and Brighton rejected it. But Tottenham are no longer in the story once again. They don't want him at the moment, but you all know Chelsea. So I might as well say congratulations to Chelsea for signing Trossard. They're probably just waiting for us to get closer to the deal, and they'll just hijack him once again. But I don't think they'll do it this time. How many wingers are they going to get? But Tottenham bid for him. It got rejected. And the Brighton owner wants around 25 million, so between 20 to 25 million. Also, according to MailSpot on this, MailSpot reports the fee for Leandro Trossard will be in the region of 20 million, which is perfect. That is perfect price to get a player who's Premier League experience. I know people say he hasn't done well since the World Cup. I know people say I didn't do well for Belgium. Belgium didn't do well at the World Cup themselves, but Trossard is a really, really good player. I'll tell you the reasons why in a bit. Also, according to James Bench, Arsenal in early talks with Brighton over the signing of Leandro Trossard, a player they have tracked since he was at Genk. So looks like we wanted him before he got in Pepe, and that is the time he had Unai Emery. When he was on the list before they signed Pepe, out of contract at Brighton this summer. So Trossard's contract at Brighton expires this summer after the season ends, which means you can get him on a cheap, but they have the option of extending his contract by 1 year to make it a bit more expensive for people to sign him. But the owner wants 25 million. The valuation is there. We just have to meet it, or negotiations have to happen. Probably once Arsenal don't want to pass that 20 million, but I do think he's worth that 25 million, even with a few months remaining on his contract. The reasons why, one, Premier League experience. He plays in the Premier League. Like, he can join us today and he can even start against Man United over the weekend because he doesn't have to settle in. He doesn't need to get all the paperwork and everything. He's played against these teams this season. He scored hat-tricks against Liverpool. He's even scored against Man City this season. So he would not need any time to settle in at all. Premier League experience. He's been here. This is his 4th season at Brighton. He joined Brighton back in 2019. So he's been here. This is his 4th season in the Premier League. So he does not need any time to settle at all. Number 2, he's cheap as well, 25 million, 20, 25 million, whichever it's going to be. That's a very good price to get in a player who's Premier League experienced. Usually, especially these days after Chelsea splashed a lot of money for Mudryk and Man City splashed cash for Grealish and Man United splashed cash for Anthony as well. Every team now wants 80, 90 million for their player. But for Brighton, they only want 25 million for Trossard, which is perfect. That is a very perfect price to get in a very good player like this one. Number 3, a very good player who can play in a lot of different positions. He mostly plays as a left winger, so he can help out Martinelli. He can also play as a right winger. He can play in behind the striker, and he can actually play as a striker himself. When Brighton used to play a back 5, whenever they play a back 5, Trossard sometimes plays as the left wing back, which is crazy. This season, I've seen us taking out Martinelli and bringing on Tierney. We're taking out midfielders to bring on defenders. Maybe it's because we want to defend the game, but also because we don't really have anyone to bring there. So instead of bringing on Tierney for Martinelli, we can bring on Trossard for Martinelli. We can bring on Trossard for Saka on that side as well. And for example, next week we have Man City. In the FA Cup, we don't have to start Martinelli in that game. You can have Trossard starting in that game right away. So that's another positive aspect about getting Trossard. And also, Brighton really plays some attractive football. Apart from Arsenal and Man City in the league, like Brighton is the one team that I really enjoy. Like in overall this season, apart from Arsenal, the 2 other teams I've really enjoyed watching are Napoli and Brighton. Really interesting football. Like they're always scoring goals, always attacking against whichever team they're playing against. And Brighton is one of those teams. Whenever they play Man City, Man United, it doesn't matter. Even when they came to the Emirates in the Carabao Cup, they're very ready to play football. Like they don't defend. They come there to play football against you. The game will end 4-3. You can never really beat Brighton 4-0 or anything. Even when you played them at their place in December, right after the World Cup, you saw like they were so close to getting back to 4-4 if that goal was allowed. So he fits into our playing style very well. Imagine if he was going to like a Tottenham with their defensive, boring tactics. It would take him time to settle in there. But with Arsenal, he's used to playing passing football, quick attacking football, pass to the wingers, run, player 1-2 with the wingers. That is exactly what we do as well. So he will fit in perfectly with the likes of Odegaard and even more quality players, Odegaard, Martinelli, Ketia, Saka. He will fit in with them very well as well. So a lot of positives with this deal. He's cheap. He fits into our style. His Premier League experience is versatile. So I definitely love this deal a lot. And also, I talked about him before Arsenal wanted him back in August when I was asked which players I want. I said McGinn and Trossard and anyone who can play like Giroud in terms of a striker who can head in the ball and a tall strike and stuff like that. So I'm really, really happy if we can get this deal done. So if you're just joining, just to recap this, the latest news from today, the latest breaking news, according to Fabrizio Romano, Arsenal have opened talks to sign Leandro Trossard from Brighton. Negotiations advanced with official bid ready for permanent move. Personal terms already agreed. Talks will continue to get deal done soon. And quoting is between 20 million to 25 million. So that is a very cheap deal. So I think you might as well say congratulations to Chelsea for signing Trossard. They can't get him this time, though. No, I don't think they can hijack any other of our players again. That would be a nightmare if they do. But let me see what you guys are saying. Do you think Trossard would be a good signing? If we sign Trossard, how many more players do you want after we get Trossard? We have like 12 days remaining in the transfer window. And as I said, you won't need any paperwork or anything. So if you sign him today, he can even be on the bench for the Man United game. So that is good. And just to help out the players that we have, Saka and Martinelli especially, that would be great. Marquinhos hasn't really hit the ground running. I didn't expect him to have an explosive first season anyway. I thought he was going to be in the under-23s. And Nelson played well for a couple of games, got injured. So this would be perfect. Is Trossard a defensive midfielder or winger? Is a winger. Alexander plays on the left wing majority of the times. Let's see. Covey says 16 games played, 7 goals scored, and 3 assists. That is a baller. Let's do it. Last season, he scored. Last season, he scored 8 goals, which is good. You know, he doesn't necessarily play as a striker or anything. Like half of those games he played as a left wing back and a right wing back, like whenever it's needed. When Brighton wants to really attack you, they played Mitoma on the left wing and Trossard as a left wing back. So those are good numbers. And he can also play a lot of games. Like last season, he played 34 out of the 38. The previous season, he played 35. The previous season, he played 31. So those are good numbers. Those are fair numbers. Those are good returns. Let's see. How are you? Okay, I'm doing good. Jonathan says, let's be fast. Hopefully we can even get him before the United game. And then also, not just because of the United game, I think you can still beat United without Trossard. It's only Man United, let's be honest. After getting him, we'll have enough time to try and get in a midfielder, hopefully. Trossard will be a perfect signing for us. Let's keep on supporting the team. We are going places, says Balogun. Keep on letting me know what you make of Trossard. Have you been watching him? Do you think he's a good signing, or are you not really convinced about him? He's 28 years of age. He's not really the kind of player we usually sign, so let's see how it's going to work out. We need him for the Man United game, says Lee. Amos says this guy is good. We should just do the business a little bit quick. Let's see. Trossard and Yuri will work for us, says Joel. That would be perfect for me. If you can get Trossard and Tielemans at the same time, that would be great. But at the moment, Tielemans' story went really quiet. I think people are just waiting for him for the end of the season because he will be free. Trossard as well could be free at the end of the season. Ray says get him signed before Chelsea. No, believe me, they probably know by now. They're probably cooking a deal for him. Sierra Leone, we have Malawi here, we have Kenya here as well. Thank you guys for watching. Is this guy not yet? Ezekiel, who gives them permission to speak with him? Another problem, says Williams. I think it's just conversating with the agent and stuff. I really wish you could know what usually goes on, like in deep with the transfers, but I guess none of us will know unless we do that kind of job. He will be a good addition to the squad, says Cornelius. Kamara says, I don't trust Arsenal in terms of discussion. Let them get the deal done. Which position? Winger. Let's see how they can go about this transfer, says Fakoya. Ahmed says, but he doesn't fit Arsenal's profile because of his age. That is true, but as I said, he fits in perfectly in other aspects. Playing style, versatility. We have a lot of players. Nowadays, I think almost 90% of our squad can play in every single position. Like back a few years ago, Ozil was a number 10. Yes, he played sometimes as a right winger, left winger, but you don't really get the best out of him. Some players you couldn't really play as a defender, like Mertesacker. There's no way you could play Mertesacker as a right back. That would be suicide. There's no way you can play someone like Monreal was the last versatile player, remember, at Arsenal, like real versatile defender until now. Nowadays, we have Ben White, we have Zinchenko, we have Saka, Martinelli, players who can play in a lot of different positions. Xhaka as well. So that is good to have, and Trossard fits into that perfectly. I pray we sign him before the Man United game, says Adeshina. Yusuf says, can we get Mitoma? I don't think they'll give us two players, and Mitoma is not going to be 20 million. That's when they'll ask for like 70 or 80 million. And I think we need only one wing. I don't think we need too many wingers. I think we need a midfielder first or a striker. A winger. I've never really wanted a winger anyway. Since last season, I've always said I want us to get a midfielder first and a striker. That is what I've always said. I didn't really think winger was a major problem because Martinelli and Saka do it well, but obviously they do need rest. So I'm happy to get in a winger who can help them out. Like, for example, Martinelli, like I think he started the FA Cup game against Oxford. Like, I don't want to see Martinelli starting a game against Oxford. That is the time now you need to rest Martinelli and then start players like Trossard. Suleiman says, I think it's a deal just to balance our bench. It's not that we really deserve. I think he's a good player. Like, I would not even be shocked if he ended up starting a few games. He's a winger who can also play as a forward player. And can also play as a left wing back. That is what he plays. Musa, how are you? Nice thing. He says, my only problem in the Arsenal transfer policy is the delay. And did you hear say Arsenal? I've heard everything my United have said. Believe me, I do listen to what they have to say just so that I can laugh at them even more when we beat them over the weekend. Yes, I heard them say they beat us without Casemiro, but that day we lost to the only game we've lost in the Premier League this season against Man United. Lokonga started in midfield. Thomas Partey was not there. This time, Thomas Partey is there. So I'm not even scared, Like, I'm looking forward to that game so much. Like, I'm expecting 2 or 3 goals. Like, I'm not even worried at all for that game at all, whether Casemiro was there or not. That's how confident these days we are these days. Let's do this business soon and move forward. Says Samura. Not a bad player. 7 goals this season already. Hope we ain't paying crazy amount for a 29-year-old. He's 28, about to turn 29 next year. But next year is 1 year from now, so he is 28. We're not paying crazy amount, and those 7 goals, he scored 3 of them at Anfield. He scored a hat-trick at Anfield. He's the only 3 players have ever scored a hat-trick at Anfield against Liverpool. Arshavin was one of them, so it's not something that usually happens a lot. He also scored away at Man City too, so he's not scared of playing against the big boys. Ocon says, I watched him against Liverpool. The guy is quick and good. Arsenal should sign him before Chelsea hijack him. So if you can check YouTube highlights, just look for Liverpool 3, Brighton 3. They drew 3-3 earlier this season at Anfield, and just watch that game and just see how Trossard performed, and then let me know what you make of that, of his performance from that game, and if that game convinces you. But that is how he usually plays in the other games as well. Edward, how are you, man? I wish this guy comes like today or tomorrow. He silenced Ten Hag, who doesn't know how to answer press conference questions. He was shook. He was that free kick totally. That only is a free kick. It literally got all the composure away from them. Hope Chelsea are not coming again, says Tobin. Trossard signing will be a blessing to Arsenal. We need more experienced players in the final third. So most of you like the Trossard signing. I've not really seen anyone, apart from a few people who say this 28 doesn't really fit the kind of player we want. Is there anyone who thinks like, no, this is not a good enough player for what we need? We need someone else. Age does not matter at all. We need from him is to show us the best quality, says AK. We need 3 signings, a striker, a wing, and a midfielder, says Chris. So it looks like we're getting a winger. Striker, I don't think we'll get a striker. I think they believe Nketiah has done well, and also since Jesus is like 3 weeks away or something, I don't think they're going to get on the striker. But you never know. If you can get a striker on loan, I wouldn't mind that. Like, I don't mind at all. Usually people don't buy a lot of players in January, but this is different, man. We are going for the league title. The problem, it's financial. That's why deals take time to be done, says Manze. I don't think it's as easy as we all usually think. Like, why Arsenal taking so much time? Why not just pay the money and sign? Like, you have to do negotiations. Even when you play Football Manager in FIFA, you have to do negotiations a few times. You have to talk about money. Otherwise, it would have been so easy for everyone to sign players. Here we have, how much do you want? 80 million. Here, medical done, player signed. How much do you want? 200 million. Here, player signed. It can't really be like that. You have to do. That is why you have negotiators in the team. He's a good player, says Godwin. Same as was as well. Tobin says I need Tielemans. The guy is very good. I like him. Please get him fast for the benefit of the club. Trossard is really good, says Thomas. So most of you like the Trossard deal. I do like it too. As I said, I wanted him before even Arsenal said looked like we were going to sign him. Him and McGinn. Those are the 2 players I really wanted since last transfer window. Trossard, that is even, I think, before we signed Jesus, I said like Trossard as a backup, that would be great. I'm getting Trossard because he can play in a lot of different positions. Let's say you start Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard, and Nketiah. Trossard can come on for Martinelli. He can come on for Saka. He can come on for Odegaard. He can come on for Nketiah. He can come on whether the game is 3-0 just to get the other players to rest. Or he can even come on if, like the Newcastle game that you drew 0-0, if you have Trossard on the bench for that kind of game, you can even take out a defender, play Trossard as a left wing back or left back because he plays in that position as well, which is really good. You can have a creative player like on the left side or on the right side, whichever. That would be perfect for us. So I'm really happy with this deal as well. That is the one that is looking likely at the moment to get done. And then we've been linked to our right back as well. And yesterday, in case you didn't tune in yesterday, we were talking about Moussa Diaby. Leverkusen, Arsenal wanted Moussa Diaby, but he's also a winger. So I really doubt you're going to sign both Trossard and Moussa Diaby at the same time. Maybe this one is one for the summer, but we are linked to this right back as well. I don't really think we need a right back, but it looks like they want a right back. Who are we to refuse? I mean, I personally don't think we need him, but if they can get him, he's 18 years of age. If he feels like they can do the job for us in the future, great. So we also want this guy from Real Valladolid. It's called Fresneda. So that is one to keep an eye on as well. If you watch La Liga, you can check out Valladolid's games and see if he's any good as well. We're also waiting for new contracts for Saka, Martinelli, and Saliba. Obviously, need to keep the good players as well. Rafinha, we talked about Rafinha the other day. I think Rafinha just wants to stay at Barcelona, so I don't really think we are going to get him. And I didn't really want him anywhere. Players who refuse to join Arsenal, I don't really want them the second or third time at all. I feel like there's so many players to sign. A lot of you have been asking about Declan Rice as well. This is a very good midfielder we can get, but you can't really get him in January, especially now that West Ham are trying to survive the Premier League. You can't really get him. So this is one to keep an eye on at the end of the season. If you win the league title and you do well in the Europa League and in the FA Cup, you attract such kind of players. We also linked to Kvaratskhelia. This is one for the end of the season as well. I don't think it's only Arsenal who are going to be linked to him. I can see Madrid wanting him, AC Milan wanting him, Juventus wanting him, Bayern Munich wanting him. So this will be hard. I've seen someone asking about Mitoma as well. I don't think Mitoma will be leaving Brighton right now. The God says Mudryk is from the Ukrainian league. Nobody watches that. So he's a really good player, though, but hopefully doesn't do well for Chelsea, obviously. But Trossard, Premier League experienced, fantastic. Stansler says Trossard is good, but let us add one defensive midfielder. I agree with that 100%. If you can get someone like a McGinn, listen, McGinn is still available at Aston Villa. I don't know if he's available, but he's one of those players that are not going to cost you 100 million, and he plays really well for Aston Villa in midfield. Or if they want to go back for Douglas Luiz, but I'm not really convinced about him. Leadi says, Arsenal, please sign Wilfred Zaha. You know, I'm going to say something controversial with that one. I don't really think I want Wilfred Zaha at Arsenal. I feel like there's too much drama. Like, especially a couple of things that I don't like about him is the constant arguing with the referee and falling down and all that in every single game. I don't think we need that in the team. I don't like the fact that he almost gets a yellow card every single game for just fighting. He doesn't even get his yellow cards for fouling, like the constant arguing with the opposition players. I don't like that. Like, he can get into people's head, but I just don't like it at all. And also, he's not going to be 20 million. He's going to be way more expensive than that. And he's also old. He's also older. I mean, heading to 30. And versatility. How versatile is Zaha as well? Yes, he plays as a striker sometimes, left winger, but I think we're getting more in terms of versatility from Trossard. I don't think Zaha can play as a left back or a left wing back. How are you, Teddy? Trossard will help the team, but we need Musa too. I don't think we'll get both of them. This is another situation, Joel Vlahovic. He refused to come to Arsenal. I don't want him. I don't want him to join us when now he wants to leave Juventus. He said Juventus have a better plan than Arsenal, so good luck to him. Covey says Trossard has accepted all the conditions offered by Arsenal on his contract. All the other teams interested have been informed of this decision. I'm pretty sure now, since that has happened with Mudryk, I think they'll move fast with this one. I know they are very aware that Chelsea could come up from nowhere, and they are very aware that Tottenham could come back in once again. Trossard, very good player for 20 million, Premier League proven. I think he is going to help us in the Europa League as well. That is another thing. Musa, I don't want to see Martinelli and Saka playing every single Premier League game and every single Europa League game. No, that is where you can play him and play Fabio Vieira and play Marquinhos in this competition, in the Europa League competition as well. So that would be great. So most of you agreed, Trossard. Let me say, put a poll on YouTube asking how you feel about signing Trossard. Will it be a good signing? 95% of you have said yes. That is pretty convincing, and only 5% have said no, you're not convinced about him. 95% is a huge sum. That is a huge return. So let's see. Bring him in and get a backup defensive midfielder, says Ryan. Again, do you guys want a backup defensive midfielder, or do you want Arsenal to sign a really, really good defensive midfielder who can even come and take that position away from Partey? Cyprian, I'd say maybe in 3 weeks' time. I think they said somewhere around Valentine's Day. So how many fixtures do we have before that? I think I don't. He'll definitely not play Man United. He'll definitely not. I don't think he'll play any of the Man City games in the FA Cup or in the league. I don't think. Looking at our fixture list after we play Man United this week, our Premier League fixtures are very good apart from the time we face Man City. We're going to have Everton. I think we're going to have Aston Villa. I think we're going to play Fulham. Listen, all those teams could be tough. Like Fulham could be tough, obviously, but those are really good fixtures. Since we've played Tottenham and Man United and Man City, like we are all going to play all of them in January, and we've also played Newcastle. The fixture list gets better in February and March up until April, where we'll have a really tough fixture list in April. So hopefully by the time we get to April, we are like 14 points ahead, if that is possible. And Jesus is back at that time. So I'd say around Valentine's Day, Cyprian. How good is Patino in the midfield? Patino is good, but still not experienced enough. So let him enjoy the loan deal. And then when he comes back, that would be good. We need a defensive midfielder because I don't believe in Eleni Lokonga, says Christopher. I agree that, I mean, I think one of the reasons we lost against Man United was because we had Lokonga in midfield. Like the space that Bruno Fernandes got in that midfield to give those passes to Rashford. This time they'll not get that space. Salami says, please Arsenal go for Frank Kessie. I really wanted him when he was at AC Milan. He's not really done well at Barcelona so far. I mean, Barcelona's still fighting for top spot with Real Madrid. They're doing better than they were last season. But I don't think he's really settled in there very well. So I wouldn't mind that at all. Kamara, I wouldn't mind that. Salami, I wouldn't mind that. Frank Kessie from there. We need a defensive midfielder like Tielemans, says Joshua. Tielemans is more of a Xhaka role. But yeah, Frank Kessie really is a defensive midfielder. If we sign him today, can he play on Sunday? Yes, he can play on Sunday because doesn't really need the paperwork because he's been living in England and everything. But there's the thing about training with the team. The reason why players don't really play immediately unless it's like an emergency situation is you have to train with the team and see how Arteta operates. You know, Arteta ball is tough, guys. You cannot just come into the team and play Arteta ball. That is tough. Arteta ball is one of the best in the world. So, but Brighton plays the kind of football we play, so I don't think he'll have a hard time. Like, imagine if we were signing a player from Burnley. Like, did you see Man United yesterday with Weghorst up front? Terrible, absolutely terrible, because he was playing for Burnley and he's gone, I think, to Turkey for like a year or something. Like, when you sign players who don't really fit your system, they'll need a lot of time to train with your side. But for someone like Trossard and also the Man City players we signed, like Jesus and Zinchenko, I don't think they have had time to settle in at Arsenal because we play almost the same kind of football. Frederick says Jeremy Pino. I've not followed Villarreal a lot this season, but we've been linked to him for like the last 1.5 years. As a backup striker, I wouldn't mind him, but I've not heard anything about him recently, Frederick. Let's see. Bob says, which country? Trossard is from Belgium. I've seen some jokes about him not playing and Batshuayi playing, but don't listen to them. We are top of the table. Don't listen to them. They say the same thing about Ramsdale. They say the same thing about all the players. So this would be a good sign. Let's see what develops from this deal. If anything comes up, once again, I will be back live, but hopefully I can be back live later again to talk about all the transfer deals. But enjoy the rest of your day. We will be back later with more updates. Thank you for watching and catch up with you on the next one.